Reynaldo, you can stand right next to me. Yeah, I'll take care of it. You're in the front row, right? Nobody else? Good morning. Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. Hey, folks. Boy, those Make the Road people are pretty loud, aren't they? Let's hear it one more time for Make the Road people. If I haven't had the privilege to meet you, my name is Joe Cryan. I have the honor of being the senator here in the 20th District, which includes the great city of Elizabeth, and it is my privilege to be with you today. I welcome you on behalf of our mayor, Christian Bolwidge, and I want to acknowledge some folks that are with us and then begin our program. I'd like to welcome our Freeholder Chair, Betty Jane Kowalski. Betty, if we hear from Union County. And last year's Freeholder Chair, Freeholder Sergio Granados. Freeholder, thank you for joining us. And I know the acting governor, I'm taking a little bit of her thunder, but I want to acknowledge two great leaders in the state of New Jersey. Our Commissioner of the Department of Labor and Workforce, Robert Angelo. Robert. And the Deputy Commissioner and Advocate, who is no stranger to the groups that are here today, no stranger to advocacy at every level, Julie Diaz. Julie, thank you for being here. So my welcoming job is over. I'm going to introduce our first speaker, but I have to say thank you to all the advocates for all your voices. You are going to hear from our sponsors, which is why I didn't introduce them first. And I want to tell you what a privilege it is to stand with people that make such a difference each and every day and care about this issue so much. It's my honor to be with them in the New Jersey legislature, and I'm thrilled that you'll be hearing from them in a few moments. So let me introduce to you an advocate who fought hard and fights hard every day and cares about people affected by this bill, who's got a unique voice. I'm sorry, I really should say, isn't it cool that the acting governor is here? I apologize, Sheila Oliver. Sorry, Sheila, I should have did that the right way. Huh? All right, I'm going to do this right now, I'm sorry. But it's super cool for me because my running mate is a big part of this today. I'm really proud of her, and proud sounds crazy, but she's an advocate each and every day for working class people, working people who fight hard, and it's such a thrill to be with her today. That's Assemblywoman Annette Chiano. And this might be our Elizabeth House for the 20th District, but in the Senate, we are down in the caucus room, and it's Loretta's house there. So I want to thank our Majority Leader, Loretta Weinberg, for being here today as well. So let me introduce to you our first speaker today. As I mentioned, she's an advocate for people who work, people who, frankly, don't get treated fairly by the system a whole lot. And I'll tell you this, Reynaldo, I have a new granddaughter who was born last Wednesday. I hope she has the passion, the voice, and the care in her life for others that you do each and every other day. It is my privilege and my honor to introduce to you from New Labor, Reynaldo Cruz.
Gracias a todos por estar hoy aquí. Para mí es un honor verlos a todos.
Thank you everyone for being here. For me, it's an honor to see you all.
Mi nombre es Reynaldo Cruz. Yo soy de la organización New Labor, soy miembro.
My name is Reynaldo Cruz, and I work with New Labor.
New Labor ha dirigido la lucha contra el robo de salario en New Jersey, iniciando con la primera ordenanza contra robos de salarios en New Brunswick.
New Labor has led the fight against wage theft in New Jersey. That work has led to local laws first in New Brunswick,
y luego en Highland Park, Princeton, Newark, Jersey City y East Orange.
and then in Highland Park, Princeton, Newark, Jersey City, and East Orange.
Esta ley abarca más trabajadores del nivel estatal para asegurar que los empleadores paguen a sus trabajadores por completo.
The law that Acting Governor Oliver will sign today will provide those same protections to workers across the state.
Hemos recuperado más de 1 millón de salarios no pagados.
Through our work, we have recovered more than $1 million across the state of New Jersey in unpaid wages.
El robo de salario es una epidemia.
Wage theft is an epidemic.
Una de las maneras de curar es luchar con esta ley.
This law is the way to fight that epidemic.
Ya es hora.
Now is the time.
Por mucho tiempo hemos luchado contra el robo de salario.
For too long, we have struggled against wage theft.
Este bill crea multas más fuertes contra los empleadores que no han pagado a sus trabajadores.
Today's legislation will create fines against employers who have not fairly paid their workers.
Hasta posiblemente pueden ir a la cárcel.
They could even face jail time.
Un día de trabajo es un día de pago.
A day work must be a day paid.
Por mucho tiempo los trabajadores tenían miedo de reportar un robo de salario por miedo a ser despedidos.
For too long, workers were too scared to report wage theft for fear of being fired.
Esta ley tiene una protección ante represalia para asegurar que nos paguen por el trabajo que hacemos.
This law protects against retaliation to make sure that we get paid for the work that we do.
Ya no debemos tener miedo.
We must no longer be scared.
Sabemos que los peores empleadores pueden estar robando salarios por años.
We know that the worst employers could have been stealing wages for years.
New Jersey finalmente tiene una ley fuerte contra el robo de salario que puede cubrir hasta 6 años y hasta $50,000 de salarios no pagados.
New Jersey finally has a strong law that will cover workers for up to 6 years or $50,000 in unpaid wages.
Los empleadores honestos cometen un error y honestos arreglan el problema. Al estar enterados, los empleadores sin escrúpulos no arreglarán el error y más bien seguirán robando los salarios.
If an honest employer makes an honest mistake, they will correct that mistake. If an employer is dishonest and does not correct that error, they will continue stealing wages.
Debemos de sacar estos malos empleadores.
We must hold these bad actors accountable.
Con las ordenanzas que ayudamos a pasar, se puede suspender o quitar la licencia de los negocios si no pagan los salarios después de una decisión final.
Much like the ordinance we helped pass, this law will provide us the opportunity to suspend business for those employers who do not comply.
Nosotros tenemos un miembro de la organización que sufrió robo de salario. Su nombre es Josefina.
We would like to recognize Josefina, who unfortunately had her wages stolen by an employer.
En el lugar donde ella trabajaba fue por overtime, que nunca le pagaron overtime, le pagaban hasta abajo el salario mínimo. Ellos recuperaron alrededor de $18,000.
She got back about $18,000 in unpaid overtime.
Gracias. Gracias, es un honor para mí estar aquí.
Thank you, it's an honor to be here.
This. Woo! Woo! Well, good morning, everyone. This is definitely my kind of crowd. My kind of crowd. And I love the fact that you realize the people united will never be defeated. Never. Never. And it's evident today as we stand here in Elizabeth, and it's important that we are in Elizabeth, because Elizabeth, of all of the cities across the state, has the largest Latino population in our state, and it is because of you and your presence in Elizabeth and the rest of Union County that our cities are being revived, that our businesses are thriving, and it's because of you and the work you do. It's because of you. Every day is a good day, and as my friend Rex said, I asked him, how you doing? He said, good, I'm on this side of the grass today. So every day is a good day, but it's really important to me to be able to be here today with Make the Road New Jersey. Yes. They are one of our fiercest advocates in the state who stand up for the rights of working class people. And we thank you for hosting us here in Elizabeth today. I want to thank the SEIU. I call you the purple and gold. And whenever I see the SEIU, I think about my dear friend, the late Gail Muhammad. And Gail always said, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. So I'm glad to see the SEIU here today. I want to thank the Spirit of the Mind for being here and the work that you do in helping people with legal issues in our communities. And I want to thank Ronaldo Cruz for the introduction she gave and the message that she provided you with. I want to commend my friends in the New Jersey legislature who have sponsored this bill, who are here with us today. Assemblywoman Quijano and Senator Weinberg. I want to thank them for their leadership. And we've been wanting to do wage theft a long time, but it was only until we got a governor like Phil Murphy that we're able to sign this bill today. I want to recognize the other legislators who couldn't join with us, but they too are sponsors of this legislation. Senator Greenstein, Assemblywoman Lampett, Assemblyman D'Angelo. We want to thank them as well for working with our sponsors. And of course, I'm glad to be joined today with our Labor Commissioner, Rob Asaro Angelo, and his Chief of Staff, Julie Diaz. Every single day, they fight on behalf of working people in this state, and I want to thank them for being here. I relate so much to wage theft. Now, many of those of us who are gathered here today represent the Latino community. But as an African American, when I look at the history of my people, we too have been subject to exploitation and theft of wages. So I am so pleased that it is black and brown together. When our workers are paid fairly, they are able to contribute to the economy, they are able to have stronger purchase power, they're able to raise their children and provide their families with what they need. In the past 18 months, the Murphy administration has already enacted equal pay legislation, raised the minimum wage, implemented paid sick leave, and strengthened temporary disability and family leave laws. Governor Murphy committed to you, and I was along at his side, that we want to make New Jersey a stronger and fairer economy for all families, not just families at the top, not just families in the middle, but families who often are the least of us. That is our commitment. This bill will assist workers affected by certain violations of laws regarding the payment of wages by strengthening enforcement procedures, remedies, and a variety of criminal, civil, and administrative sanctions against violators. And Ronaldo shared with you the experience of one of your members. But we know, I read every single day of settlements that have occurred, of people who have employers who have not fairly paid their workers. I talk to many workers who are told they're going to be paid one thing, and when payday comes around and they're provided with that pay is not what they were told they would get. Today, we want to send a message to employers, the bad employers, that in New Jersey, we are not going to tolerate the exploitation of any worker. And the fact that we have many immigrant communities in this state, do not think that if you employ members of immigrant communities, that you can violate the law and not pay them what they are entitled to. Under this bill, any employer that fails to pay wage violations will be at risk of losing their business licenses in this state. And to further hold employers accountable who subcontract out to companies and choose to steal from their workers, they will now be held jointly responsible and liable. This legislation will also significantly strengthen retaliation provisions, now protecting workers from being fired for speaking out about unpaid wages. For too long, we've remained silent because we know we need that job. This law will make you not have to be silent anymore. You have a right to speak up, and the state of New Jersey will protect you. So today, we are sending a strong message to employers who choose to steal wages. They will no longer be able to get away with these unfair and unethical practices in this state. And if they choose to conduct themselves in this manner, you know what? They're no longer welcome to do business in the state of New Jersey. So thank you again to the advocacy leaders here today, Craig Garcia and Sarah Kalliane, Make the Road New Jersey, Lou Gimmel, and New Labor, as well as Kevin Brown. We thank you, Kevin. I'd also like to thank the representatives of ACLU who are with us today. You are always at the forefront of standing up for people, and we thank you for being here today. Without you and our leaders in the legislature, this bill would not have been brought before me and giving me an opportunity to sign it in the governor's absence. It is your hard work that will result in a stronger and fairer economy for everyone in this state. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to bring up one of the fiercest lions in our state Senate, Senator Loretta Weinberg.
I always need the stool so I can see over the sign. Well, that's a tough act to follow. Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, who showed the passion that she had not only for this bill that we are about to see signed, but for so many others. She is truly a sister, and I like being the same height as you, Sheila. And we are indebted. I always say I am always happy to see Governor Murphy, but it's also nice to see the Lieutenant Governor here to sign this bill into law. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, as my colleague, Assemblywoman Quijano knows, when we get to this stage, it looks easy, right? Just need somebody to officially sign and hand out pens. Well, I can't quite remember when we started on this road, but it's at least 6 or 7 years ago. 7 years. 7 years ago, through a prior governor who refused to support and vetoed every single one of the new laws that the lieutenant governor talked about, whether it was pay equity, earned sick leave, raising the minimum wage, and now today, to stop wage theft. Ronaldo said in her opening statements, wage theft is epidemic in New Jersey. Well, let me tell you, as of today, wage theft was epidemic in New Jersey, but no longer. I'd like to make special mention of Commissioner Rob Acero, Angelo, and Julie Diaz. It will be up to them to implement and enforce this law. Both of you stand up, look at this audience, Julie, Rob. And these are the people who will make sure that you have a voice in the highest levels of government. You know, I don't know if you all appreciate your roles here today or the culmination of the work that all of you have done, because it is you coming forth, sharing your stories, telling us what is going on that enables us to get to this day. So thank you for your voices. We need to take you all on the road with us for the cheering squad, because I also like the call, do something. How do you say that in Spanish? Do something. Huh? All right, well, let's hear that too. Do something. So thank you for being here. Thank you to the Lieutenant Governor for bringing her pens. Thank you for having a governor who is willing to sign these bills. And thank you to my colleague, Annette Quijano, who together we worked on this bill. And I am proud to have worked with her and with all of you. Thank you.
I don't know if you need it. No, I don't need it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. No, I don't know. It's hot in here, but that just shows you that this bill was a hot bill. So I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Oliver, and for some of you who don't know, she was our Assembly Speaker, and we served together, and she actually appointed me Chair of Homeland Security, which was my first chairmanship, and it was a great thing because it showed that she believed in me and my leadership, so I thank you for that. I want to thank, of course, Majority Leader Senator Weinberg, Department of Labor Commissioner Robert Angelo, and his staff, because they did work hard on this bill, as well as all the staff who had worked in my office. And in 7 years, you go through a few chiefs of staff. You know, people move around. So this bill started with Frank Vespa Papaleo, who used to be the executive director of the Unit for Civil Rights under the Attorney General, after he was let go under Governor Christie. Justin Braz, Julie Diaz, Shane Darris, and Seth Levine. So there has been quite a few people that worked on it. No, they all got promoted, and they're in other places in the state. I want to thank the advocates. 7 years is a long time. You never gave up, and you were always there. And you helped us craft the strongest anti-wage theft law in the country. So thank you. Wage theft is when an employer fails to pay an employee the wages they agreed to. Wage theft happens when workers are not paid the minimum wage, overtime, or benefits, as well as when they're not paid at all. My bill gives workers powerful new tools to level the playing field against employers who don't play by the rules and cheat their workers out of their hard-earned wages. We've worked on this bill for over 7 years. And for those that don't know, this started from a study done by a law student that attended Seton Hall. And when I read it, it showed that Elizabeth definitely had a problem with wage theft. I looked into it more and found this issue is just not a problem in Elizabeth, but in the entire state and country. Wage theft is a routine business practice across many industries and companies, large and small. In 2018, the U.S. Department of Labor recovered, listen to this, $304 million for workers nationally. Wage theft is real, and if it hasn't happened to you, it could have happened to your neighbor, a relative, or even your mother. Now, I say even your mother. My mother moved out of state, and guess what? She's a victim of wage theft. And the state that she lives in doesn't have a bill such as this. So this brought it home. If all the stories didn't bring it home, when your own mother has that problem, you know you have to protect everybody else's mother. Wage theft is theft, according to the Department of Labor. The average wage theft nationally is $1,150. Think about that. That's 5 weeks of food, a month of rent, 3 months of utilities, and 7 weeks of child care, and that's based on the national averages. It is said that Americans can't afford to pay a $400 unexpected health care expense. So what happens if a parent in New Jersey has their wages stolen? They must decide for themselves and their children whether do you skip rent, skip meals, or go without health care. But the tools provided in this bill, the same family could file a wage claim with the New Jersey Department of Labor or in civil court and get the state to weigh in on their side of justice. My bill allows for honest mistakes by the employer, but it protects also the workers from retaliation and imposes severe penalties on employers who make wage theft a part of doing business. We are sending a message today that New Jersey will not tolerate wage theft in our state and will stand up for working families. Today is a good day for workers in New Jersey because today, together, we have won a battle in the fight for economic justice. Thank you.
And with that, we are going to sign this bill into law.